Good morning and happy Sunday, YouTube and my Facebook fragrance family. My name is Maddie and this is the Sovereign Grooming Company YouTube channel, and I want to welcome you to this week's weekly rotation video. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm going to put all my commercials at the back end of the video, so if you don't want to check them out, that's fine, you don't have to. So let's just go ahead and jump into this. So actually, we're not jumping in. Last week, Janine suggested that I do a flanker week. She said that's what she'd like to see. I thought that was a really good idea. And as I was looking through my fragrances, I realized that I had enough, not just flankers, but cologne flankers to make up a full week. So a lot of companies have been doing cologne versions of their fragrances recently. You know, that's been kind of a big thing this year. I mean, it's always been a thing, but it seems like it's been kind of a bigger thing this year, because I've got, out of 7 fragrances, 3 of them were released in 2019. So let's go ahead and get started. I kicked things off on Sunday of last week with Paco Rabanne's 1 Million Cologne. So this is a fragrance that a lot of people are familiar with, at least the original Paco Rabanne. Super sweet, clubbing fragrance. And they took it, added some citrus to the top, lightened it up a little bit, and made something that's nowhere near as overwhelming, not as cloying, really nice to wear. You can pull it off in the hot weather, and I think that's exactly the point of a cologne flanker. So this was really nice. It's a little bit harder to find. You can pick it up on eBay. There's a lot of testers. The prices aren't too bad, but well worth getting. Paco Rabanne's 1 Million Cologne. That was our Sunday cologne flanker. Now Monday was a gym day, so a lot of times I like to wear kind of a lighter fragrance. Usually they involve citrus, that kind of thing, and that's what I did on Monday. So I went with Mercedes-Benz Cologne, and I'm finding that Mercedes-Benz is putting out some nice fragrances, and this is no exception. So this gets compared to one that I wore later in the week, which is Dior Homme Cologne, and you know, I can see that. It's very lemony, it's citrusy. It doesn't have the same kind of lemonade sweetness as that one does. It's a little greener, if that's the right word. Not entirely sure that's the right word, but that's the best way I can think about it. I think it's got like this kind of more lemon verbena, or like a lemon leaf kind of thing than actually the Dior, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But this is also a good bargain. I managed to pick up this 4-ounce bottle on FragranceNet for under $40. So Mercedes-Benz Cologne was Monday's cologne flanker. Great fragrance. Now Tuesday, this was the first of my 2019 cologne flanker releases, and this one, it didn't get a lot of talk. It got some. I know there's some video reviews out there, but not a whole lot of talk about this one. This is Gucci Guilty Cologne, and I think this is a line that, you know, people have really mixed feelings about. Not everybody loves it. Some people hate it. Some people love it. Some people are in between. Some people just don't care. This one is really interesting. It's the most unique of the fragrances that I wore today, I think. It opens up kind of with this sort of medicinal vibe, and I know that doesn't sound that great. It's not as bad as it sounds, but it's sort of like the liquid that you would use to clean medical implements or something like that. And again, it's so weird to say. I don't mean that in a bad way. Like, it's a really unique fragrance, and then it dries down and it's a little bit fresher. And it's different, you know? So people complain when companies put out the same kind of Ambroxan sort of designery fragrances that everybody else does, but then a company comes along and does something different, and people complain about that too. So it's hard to win. This one's really, again, I keep saying interesting. I use that word over and over and over and over again. So if you have the opportunity, check this out. You know, get a decant, or look for somebody who's unloading their bottle that they didn't like, and check it out. It's a really good cologne flanker. Nice to have if you want to wear something that's not the same as everything else. So that was my Tuesday cologne flanker, Gucci Guilty Cologne. Wednesday was another gym day, so we brought out our citrus light fragrances. Dior Homme Cologne, everybody knows this one. This is like sweet lemonade. Scott said on Facebook, this is one that you don't have to worry about overspraying, which is cool. He was right. So I did a couple sprays of this, went to the gym, came home, refreshed a spray or two, went out to the golf course, rocked this one all day long. It was like 90 some degrees outside while we were out there. Doesn't matter. This is a great fragrance. Not as much of a bargain, I don't think, as the Mercedes-Benz, but a little different, still really nice. Dior Homme Cologne. You all know this one. Thursday, another 2019 flanker. the most controversial 2019 flanker of the Cologne Flanker Week. Creed Aventus Cologne. So I did a first impression video on this one already. I'll link that in the show notes so that you can check it out. I like it. I think this is a great fragrance. Opens with mandarin in the mids, then the mandarin is really nice. Juicy, realistic. And then when you get to the mids, you sort of catch that Aventus DNA. There's a little bit of smoke in there, that kind of thing that reminds you that this is Aventus. And then you've got tonka and vetiver in the dry down. It's fresh and it's sweet all at the same time. So I disagree with the comparisons that people are making. I had comparisons on my Facebook posts of Versace Pour Homme and Chanel Allure Homme. You mixed Aventus with Chanel, and I don't think that's accurate. I think this is a really well done fragrance, a really well blended fragrance. Smells fantastic. So as far as the price goes, I said this in my first impression video. Price is crazy. Would never pay $400 for a fragrance. Now, when you get into the Facebook groups, you're looking at somewhere around $220 to $240 for a full 100 ml bottle, or you can pick up a partial. This is a partial. And it is worth noting that Sensual Obsessions has a version of this, and I believe Alexandria is coming out with a version of this as well, which I'm hoping to get my hands on soon. And I know that I started this head-to-head series a while back, and I did one video, and I haven't done another one. This is one that I really want to get into head-to-head. I swear I'll get back to it, I promise. I just don't know when. One last thing about Creed Aventus Cologne. This was Thursday, and my parents took the two boys, so I took my daughter to the gym so I could do some work. They have really great childcare. That way I got out of the house, my wife could do some stuff, I could do some work. Took her to childcare. Went and worked for a little while. When I went back to pick her up, the girl that was in the child care said, you know, I kind of walked by her. She went, "Ooh, you smell good." So I never get compliments. I mean, like, never, never, never. And for somebody to randomly exclaim that as a result of this fragrance, again, it's an awesome smell. So performance is not that great. I'm hoping that Alexandria fixes that again. I like this. I'm a supporter. I'm a believer. Creed Aventus Cologne, 2019 Cologne Flanker. Friday, I went back to the familiar. I've worn this one before, probably the last couple weeks or so. Guerlain L'Homme Ideal Cologne. The almond, sweet, creamy almond sort of note that this Ideal line has. A little fresher, a little lighter. Daniel from Scented Waters commented and said that, you know, he didn't really think that much of this one, but then he wore it in high heat and it performs really well. I think this is a great bargain fragrance. A lot of people talk about it. It's not a projection monster or beast. It's more of a close encounter kind of thing. And it lasts for a pretty long time, though. You know, you should probably get a good 7 or 8 hours out of this for most people. Not everybody. Your mileage may vary. But again, this was Friday. Really nice fragrance. So that brings us to yesterday. And yesterday was another 2019 Cologne Flanker. This one is Gentleman Givenchy Cologne. So this one came out this year in the spring as well, just like the Gucci Guilty Cologne. I posted this one on Instagram, and I put 3 words that really sum this one up for me. And those words were citrusy, woody, classy. This is just a really nice fragrance. If you get a chance to check this one out, I highly recommend it. Gentleman Givenchy Cologne, released this year. Dan, Mr. Smelly, 1977, reviewed this one. I think he had good things to say about it. I enjoyed it too. Wore this out yesterday while I was running some errands. Really nice fragrance. So, that wraps up Cologne Flanker Week. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed wearing those fragrances, and I still think it's cool that I had Cologne Flankers for 7 days. Not sure what I'm going to do this week, so if you have any suggestions, go ahead and leave them in the comments. This was a result of Janine's suggestion. I am considering doing a regular flanker week since I have a ton of other flankers that aren't just Cologne flankers, but I'm also considering going random unless somebody has a better idea. But just to be safe, cover my bases, I'm wearing Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue Sun. So we've got a flanker for today in case I want to do a flanker week. So that's what's going on. Now I will tell you, we've got about 325 members in the Welcome to FragCon Facebook group, friendliest Facebook group out there. Join us, come on in, ask your beginner questions, share your expert knowledge, anything in between. It's a really friendly group. The people are great. There's people that know a lot of stuff. There's people that like to ask questions. We've got, some fragrance company owners in there as well. Great place to be. Also follow me on Instagram. I post my scent of the day. Every once in a while I post something else, but we can kind of catch up with each other and see what's going on. So that's all I've got for you today. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope to get another video in this week, but it really just depends on my schedule and how things are going. One thing's for sure, we will be back next Sunday for another weekly rotation video. So until then, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.